Hi guys, it's me Gwen and welcome back to my channel. When you're taking the actual test, you sort of get greedy. You want to do really well on the test, so you try to go overboard, and that's what makes you go somewhere else, the wrong direction, and sometimes you don't even know what you're saying. So it's really important to get ready for the actual test by taking lots and lots and lots of mock tests, which the channel is providing. So stay with us until you are through with the test, because every week, as you know, we upload a new set of TOEIC speaking videos, right? TOEIC speaking test videos. So take them, come back to me, and I'll explain to you one by one on how you could have improved your answers, all right? So let's get with it. I have a test set here, and it's coming from the test that took place in Korea in November. And here, I'm going to choose one out of the two, and I'm going to choose I'm going to choose a second passage, all right? So the second passage here is I think it's a commercial, it's an advertisement. They're trying to promote an item. So listen carefully. Are you sick and tired of grinding, mixing, and chopping your ingredients? Then you need the Mix-a-Lot. On today's cooking show, we're going to demonstrate how to use this convenient new cooking device. It's simple to use and can be taken apart for easy cleaning. Okay, so it's a cooking show, but basically they're trying to introduce something called Mix-a-Lot. Okay, very funny name, huh? So here, right from the beginning, they're giving you a question. They're giving you a question to read. And in that question, you see those three words in orders, which are grinding, mixing, and chopping the ingredients. Chopping your ingredients. So those words are not so hard to read individually. Grinding, mixing, chopping. But when you put them all together, there's got to be some kind of rhythm. Like, are you sick and tired of grinding, mixing, and chopping your ingredients? So in order to create that rhythm of English, you have to be sure where the stresses go. So it's grinding, mixing, chopping, ingredients. Okay, it goes on ingredients. Okay, and you sort of have to lift up the end, ingredients, because it's a question. And in the middle, there is a word Mix-a-Lot. You get a little bit of that tongue twister feeling, right? Mix-a-lot. It gets tongue twisted. So it's Mix-a-lot. So this is a miss who mixes a lot. It's Mix-a-lot, okay? And the word demonstrate could be a little tricky. Demonstrate. Although the TR doesn't exist in the beginning part of the word, it's demen. And then it comes in the almost like the ending part, straight. So there's a TR sound there. So make sure you make that ch sound for that. It's demonstrate. It's straight. Okay. So I'm going to read the passage once again. So listen carefully and just be careful, look closely, watch closely on how I make those emphasis and the stresses, okay? Are you sick and tired of grinding, mixing, and chopping your ingredients? Then you need the Mix-a-Lot. On today's cooking show, we're going to demonstrate how to use this convenient new cooking device. It's simple to use and can be taken apart for easy cleaning. Okay, easy cleaning. They both are long vowels, so it's got to be easy cleaning, all right? You have to sort of open up your mouth wider. Easy cleaning. All right, now we're going to move on to part 2, a beautiful picture. I think it's taken at a wine shop. I love wine. Which wine do you guys like? A white one or the red one? Well, for me, I always go with the red wine. I always used to go with the red wine, but nowadays, slowly, I think I'm going also for the white wine too. Because I always thought white wines were very sweet compared to the red wines. But no, there are some things that are not so sweet. So more and more, I'm trying to mix the white and the red one, red and the white one. And actually, white wine seems to be lighter, so it's easier to just have it with a meal. And of course, they say red wine goes better with the meat and white wine goes better with the fish. Well, when you keep that protocol, then you gotta actually enjoy both. But overall, I love to drink wine. I mean, I would love to drink wine with you guys if we get a chance. But yeah, so this picture it's a picture of a wine store, and they're selling cheese too. They have this stacked up cheese back there. So there are three people, and obviously one is a customer, two of them are clerks. The clerks are wearing aprons. So it's better to say those words than just neglecting them. So you say the apron, you say the shopping bag, you see some items displayed in the background. So if you know the words, then try to mention them in your answer. And I'll be speaking for 45 seconds. It's very important. Well, yesterday something very important happened. I dropped my phone in the water. Yeah, I was brushing my teeth and I was like watching a YouTube video at the same time. Yeah, I had a plan to brush my teeth for a long time. So I had the video playing up there. I was brushing my teeth and all of a sudden, the phone fell off the shelf. It dove into the water and I was like, oh my gosh. It's a little weird still, but it's working. Luckily, the timer's working. Okay, so with my perfectly fine iPhone, I'm going to time my answer for 45 seconds. This is a picture taken at a store, and there are three people in this picture. On the right side of the picture, there's a man, and he looks like a clerk. He has dark hair, he's wearing a white shirt and an apron. He's holding a shopping bag and a card machine. He's smiling and looking at a customer. On the left side of the picture, I can see the customer. She's wearing a scarf and a gray shirt. She is holding a credit card and handing it over to the clerk. In the middle of the picture, I can see a woman. She also looks like a clerk. She is also wearing an apron. She has blonde hair. She is looking at something. In the background of the picture, I can see many things such as wine bottle, cheese, and so on. And maybe, people are busy at the store. Okay, so exactly, I spoke for 45 seconds, as you guys saw. It's really important to time yourself when you're practicing because like those people mentioning, like leaving comments on our channel, it gets really tough when you're actually taking the test. Like when you go there at the test site, you're so nervous. I mean, you paid like lots of money for the test, so you want to do your best, right? But actually what happens is you're trying to best and sometimes you go overboard. You're talking about this, but actually it's going the other direction and you don't know what you're saying. You get lost and then you get frustrated and in the end, you almost like sort of give up on the test. So make sure you time yourself. Try to create an actual test setting when you're practicing and that's going to really help you to improve your actual performance when you're actually taking the test at the test site, okay? So always time yourself. Always time yourself and always record your voice and try to give yourself a feedback. It's very important because no matter what people say to you, it's all about how it sounds to you. You can be the biggest critic to yourself, right? People might be a little soft on you. They might say, oh, you did a good job, but maybe this. But you can be your biggest critic. So try to criticize as much as you can to the recordings that you actually make. And when you go take the test in Korea, I don't know what it's like in the other parts of the world, at the very end, you get to click those little buttons there. 11 buttons are waiting for you and you can listen to your recordings. And believe me, I have some students who went to take the test and they're like, it's like first time listening to their answers and they're like, oh my gosh, teacher, I got scared. I didn't know that was my actual voice. I'm like, yeah, that's why I told you guys to record your voices, the answers, and try to listen to them because they're not that beautiful yet, okay? So make sure to record your answers and get used to listening to your voice and try to be your biggest critic and try to improve your recorded answers, okay? All right, and we're gonna move on to part 3, and here we're gonna talk about the town you live in. Okay, so throughout the year of 2019, ETS has been constantly returning to the topic, your neighborhood, your town. So they want you to be able to talk about every single aspect of the neighborhood you live in. They want to ask you about the transportation, the stores that you go to, the environment, cafes, the parks. They talk about everything about your neighborhood. And today they're asking you again 3 questions. So the first question goes, the first one is almost always the same. So no, with this time it's a little different. Do you like to walk around the town you live in? And how often do you go for a walk? All right. Well, I like to walk around the town I live in because it's very peaceful and nice, and there are many things such as parks, cafes, and so on. I go for a walk once or twice a week, and it's very nice and relaxing. So I like to take a walk around my neighborhood. Okay, so I've spoken for a little over 15 seconds, maybe 16, I would say. But you know what? It's always important to say as much as you can. Like, I've seen some people, some instructors on YouTube. I'm not going to mention who he is. But you know what? He's been telling students, you do not have to say more than what they ask for. So in this case, you would say, do you like to walk around the town you live in? Yes. And how often do you go for a walk? I go for a walk once or twice a week. I mean, frankly speaking, if you only provide that much answer, you'll be talking for only 5 seconds. And what are you going to do with the remaining 10 seconds? I mean, why does ETS have to provide you 15 seconds of time if they're not asking you to speak for that long, right? So guys, wake up. I mean, like the things that he is telling the students is something that the students want to hear. Like they want to hear something like, oh, you don't have to talk that much. Just go easy. It's okay. Just say yes or just say no. You don't have to say too much because they're not asking for too much. If you want to get better level, better score, you gotta become really talkative. You gotta show them that you know how to speak English. You gotta keep talking on and on and on and on to show them you know these words, you know these expressions related to whatever topic you're talking about, okay? Like what I'm doing right now. So you gotta keep talking, talking, and talking. Which place in your town do you like the most and how often do you go there? Okay, so places in town, I always talk about the park, the cafes, the restaurants. There are so many things to talk about. So in my town, there's a beautiful park called the Rainbow Park. It takes only 5 minutes on foot, so I go there very often. I go there maybe 5 times a week, and I usually go there in the morning and enjoy walking. It's so peaceful and quiet, and I can sort of like meditate. This is actually my story, because except for the real cold times, even in summer, I like to go to the park in my neighborhood. Of course, it's not called the Rainbow Park. It's in Korean. It's called 양재 시민의 숲공원, which is so freaking hard, right? So that's why I just say Rainbow Park. Who cares? They're not going to give me like good scores just by saying 양재 시민의 park, right? So go with the word rainbow. I told you guys it fits with everything. Your dentist, go say rainbow dentist. Your cafe, rainbow cafe. The restaurant, rainbow restaurant, okay? Anything rainbow works. So actually, I have really beautiful park near my house. It's so beautiful, so quiet. Actually, it's really nice because it has a stream just flowing across the park, and it's so peaceful. And whenever the season changes, I see so many plants and flowers grow according to the season. So it's a beautiful place. I mean, if you guys come visit Korea, I mean, Seoul, that is actually one of the places that I would recommend you guys to go see. Okay. And the last question, if there were one thing that you could change about your town, what would it be? Okay. Unfortunately, I live in Seoul, so there are so many things they have to change about this town, okay? But I would say, well, everything is nice in my town, but actually I have one problem. There's only one bus stop, but it is far from my house. It takes 20 minutes on foot, so it is very inconvenient. Every day I have to walk for a long time, and it is very exhausting. So I think there should be more bus stops, and they should make a bus stop near my house. Then it would be very helpful for people like me. I mean, that's the only complaint I have. So please make a bus stop for me. All right. Now, I live in a place, a very awkward middle point where like there are 2 subway stations. If I go either this side or that way, I have to walk for 10 minutes each. So every morning, if I have to take the subway, I'm like thinking, which station am I going to use? But they both, I've timed myself, believe me, I've timed myself. They both take around 10 minutes to go. So if it gets really cold, if it gets really hot, it's really annoying to go all the way. So I really want to take a bus, but the bus stop in front of my house don't have the bus that I can take to go to my office. So I have to go to another bus stop, which is quite far away, about 15 minutes walk, 15 to 20 minutes, to take the bus. So happy, right? So I'm actually talking somewhat truth here. So I think a lot of people would agree with this, like having not many public transportation around the neighborhood, in the town, might be a little inconvenience for you to live, especially in big cities. So I complained about that. they should make more bus stops, you know. It should be very helpful for people like me. I mean, I'm waiting for one to be built. So again, I tried to be more talkative while I was talking about the answers of part 3 because I told you guys, again, you have to talk until the time ends, okay? It's like a bomb. You have to be talking and talking and talking or else it's gonna, you know, just boom, pop. So make sure you do non-stop talking, endless talking. And you know what? ETS is going to score you high, okay? All right, and we're moving on to part 4. It says Saul's Industries Employee Training. Saul is a name that I remember from this American TV show called Breaking Bad. I don't know how many of you have seen that, but it's a good movie. It's a very great, you know, TV drama, and I love that series. I watched everything. I want to go back to the beginning and start all over again, but it's like so stressful. Yeah, if you've seen it, I mean, you would know what I'm talking about. But I totally love that TV show. Anyway, it's Monday. It's going to happen on Monday, April 18th in the main auditorium. That's the time schedule. In the middle is this, speech, presentation, workshop, lunch. Ooh, they're providing lunch. And on the right are the speakers and the names of their departments. Okay, so some are from the design department and some are from the sales department and some are from the HR department. You would obviously know because in the parenthesis next to the word speaker, you see the word department. So here goes the first question, guys. What is the last thing on the schedule and what time will it finish? Last thing, duh, not the first thing, please. At 2 p.m., there will be a workshop on group planning and it will finish at 3 p.m. So please remember that. Okay. For part 4, you can never fulfill the time. And I don't even fulfill the time because there's not much to say for a question like this, right? So for me, the last thing, not the first thing, started at 2, ended at 3. It's a workshop and it's being led by Ryan Hurley from the HR department. So those are some things that I talked about. And when you're ending the answer, try to provide something like, please remember that. Please keep that in mind. Don't be late. That kind of, a little bit of added expression. Yeah. Now, moving on to the next question. I was told that there will be a presentation given by the sales team at 1:30 p.m. Is that right? 1:30 sales team. Let me look at it. No. They're going to start at 1. So it's a little different here. So I would say, actually, no, at 1 p.m., there will be a presentation on effective teamwork given by the sales team. So please keep that in mind. It's not 1:30, it's 1 p.m. Don't get confused. All right, I tried to lengthen my answer by saying a little more. It's not 1:30, it's 1, so please don't get confused. And that's how I fulfilled 15 seconds. And actually, those who are aiming for level 8, that's what I actually do at the test site. I don't just give the answer. Ta-da, this is the answer. But I try to give more additional information so I can talk about something around the thing that I'm talking about. Or I would say that just not giving just the topic of the presentation, but I would say I think this is a very interesting topic and I'm pretty sure you're going to like it. So you must participate in this. That kind of thing, okay? So try to be a little more passionate, a little bit more enthusiastic about the information you're giving. Then there's got to be more things that you want to say, okay? That's all I can say. All right, and the last question. I was greatly inspired by Jason Han, the head of the design team, when applying to this company. Jason Han, remember that name. I'm looking forward to hearing from him in person, so could you please tell me all the details? Jason Han, yes, ma'am. There are 2, right? So we have Jason Han at 10, we have Jason Han at 11, and one of them is a presentation and one of them is a workshop. Make sure you guys remember, presentation always is used with the verb give. So it's got to be give a presentation, give a presentation. But the workshop is always something that goes with the word lead. So it's got to be lead a workshop, lead a workshop, lead a workshop, okay? So by using the 2, I would say, well, there are 2. At 10 a.m., Jason Han will give a presentation on new design era. And at 11 a.m., there will be a workshop on planning design concepts led by Jason Han from the design team. Both of them should be very interesting for you because both of them are featured by Jason Han. So during both sessions, you will meet Jason Han and hear from him. So I think both of them should be very interesting for you. Okay, so I kept on saying Jason Han's talking, he's featured, like these are featured by Jason Han. You're gonna love it, you're gonna like it. Both of them should be very interesting for you. So I kept on saying basically the same thing over and over again, but it's to show the person who's rating me, you know what, I can say it this way, I can say it that way, I can say it this way. I know I sound very crazy, but you know what, I know how to speak English. This is way to go. All right, so right now we're taking a test. We're taking an English speaking test to get a score, official score on how well I speak English. I mean, doesn't it make sense to talk more, talk a lot, than talk less? All right, and the next next part is part 5. And there's a message for you guys from Wendy. Okay, so I think I feel like I want to sound like I want to use the British accent. A weird British accent created by a Korean who was brought up in America. Hello, I'm Wendy Jones and I'm working in the personnel department. You must be well aware about the construction that is going on near the office. It is supposed to last for about a month. It will be noisy with lots of drilling and hammering. I don't want all the noise to distract my staff and interfere with their work. That's why I've been trying to think of ways to prevent the noise from bothering the people in the office. However, I'm having trouble coming up with an effective idea. That's why I decided to call you. Since you are my manager, you have probably encountered a similar situation before. What did you do then? I could really use your advice. What do you think we should do about the noisy environment? Please think about the situation and call me back at extension 12 when you come up with a solution. Thank you. Goodbye. Did I sound like one? You know, whenever I try to make different accents, it's really funny. I used to live in Mississippi in America, and you know, they have totally different accent, and I still cannot like do anything near it. It's like, hello, hey, I'm Wendy Jones, and I'm working in the soup. It's really weird. I really can't do it. But that was somehow me trying to pretend that I'm a British person, okay? So they're working in an office. There's a construction going on. The funny thing nowadays, I gotta point out this. The thing nowadays is that the actual problem didn't occur yet. Like the problem didn't happen, but this person is so anxious. This person is so worried that it might happen. So this person wants to prevent something to be happening. I see that kind of situation so often these days. So ETS is trying to create some different formats of questions. So here they say it's not noisy yet, but they know that it's going to distract their work. So they want to prevent them from happening. So they're like trying to get some ideas on making that situation not happen. So I think it's literally the same thing, you know, like it's noise problem. What would you do? You would give them a warning. Be quiet, right? So just be quiet, guys. I'm trying to work here. What do you think you're doing? So you can do that, or just like, you know, give them a warning. And, you know, sometimes when there's construction going on, I mean, you can actually have the employees work sometime else, some like time later, avoiding the time that they're doing construction, or ask them to do the construction, avoiding the time that they're working, right? So I think that could be your answer. And this is what Gwen's gonna say. Hello, dear. This is Gwen. I heard that you're in the personnel department. However, there's a problem because there's a construction going on near our office. And you're worried about that. And you're worried that it will be noisy and it might distract our work. So you'd like to get some help with this matter. I know. Well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear about the situation. However, you know, I'm happy to say that there is a way to help you out. And after looking into the situation, actually, I came up with the following suggestions. So listen to me carefully. I think it's a good idea to call the construction company and give them a warning. That should be very helpful. And why don't we have the employees work from home? I mean, that should be possible. So those are my suggestions. And if you need more help or my advice, just feel free to call me back anytime, girl. Thank you. Bye. So what I was trying to do here is, whenever you use the template, I hear the recorded answers all the time of my students that they sound like a robot. They're trying to prove that they did so good at memorizing this thing. They're like, teacher, I memorized it. Just watch how fast I can do it. Don't do that, please. I mean, people at ETS know that you're somehow memorizing some scripts, and they're not that dumb. They're not idiots. They know what you're doing, okay? And they don't want to rate people. Well, memorizing is part of, speaking practice. You have to memorize some expressions. You have to memorize some contents to speak about or talk about, right? So I really praise for memorizing something, but sounding like a robot and very unnatural is not something that you should do, right? With the things that you memorized, with the expressions that you memorized, you have to somehow create your own language. You have to sound very natural. And that's what I was trying to do. I was like, all right, don't worry. Just you have to listen to me carefully, okay? Here it goes. Well, so those things make it sound more natural. I know those are typically hard for beginners to do, but try to do not sound or try to not prove that you memorized it. Don't tell them that you're memorizing something. It does show. So whenever you're practicing, try to act or try to practice acting on naturally sound your English to sound natural, okay? All right, that's done. And always remember, I am not discouraging you guys to memorize the template because you have to memorize the template. Memorizing template is the number one thing that you have to do for part 5 as a foreigner speaking. But, act it out. Act it out. Girls, act it out. Guys, okay? Oh my gosh, it's finally the last part. I've been talking for almost 40 minutes now. Non-stop. Okay, here goes part 6. Which of the following would you more likely prefer to live without? Okay, so it's mobile phones or TV. And you know what? Actually, I can't live without a mobile phone. This goes with me until the day I die. Until the time I sleep. So the moment I close my eyes is the moment I let my phone go. I think it's almost the same with everybody out there. Even you guys right now, you're holding your phone, right? You're watching this video on your phone. So I guess we cannot live without a mobile phone. But here they're saying you're more likely prefer to live without. Which one would you prefer to live without? And for me, I wanted to take another approach. I wanted to say, I'm so addicted to using my phone, so I should get rid of it. I should just not live with it. So that's why I prefer to live without my smartphone. That's my version of the story. Or you can take that version of the story and flip it a little bit, and twist a little bit, and you can also say, I would prefer to live without the TV, okay? Because I don't need TV. I don't watch TV. I hardly ever watch TV nowadays. I don't need it, actually. I just, put it there because a house without a TV is unimaginable even now. So I have a TV. It's just to accessorize my house. But, I wanted to say something like I'm really aware of my addiction to mobile phone or my smartphone. So here it goes. I would more likely prefer to live without mobile phones. There are several reasons to support my opinion, and most of all, it is better for my life. For example, I use a smartphone. I have my smartphone with me all the time. I do lots of things on my smartphone, and all I have to do is use some apps. I can do shopping, I can watch videos, I can listen to music. There are so many things I can do. To be honest, I spend too much time on my smartphone. Like yesterday, I actually wasted lots of time on my smartphone. I think I wasted like 7-8 hours. I watched YouTube videos all day long. I watched one after another endlessly. I spent more than 8 hours watching YouTube videos and playing with my phone. It was a waste of time. And as a result, I wasn't able to do my homework. I wasn't able to do my work. I wasn't to run errands. I didn't do anything productive. It was so meaningless. So as you can see, I should get rid of it. I shouldn't use it. I should live without it. I should just, live without it. And that's why I think so. That was the point that I was trying to make. Which I think is never gonna happen. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. But there are all the elements that you can use. Telling them I would prefer to live without TV because I can do this, that on my phone. I can't live without it. So I would just prefer to live without the TV part. Okay? So you can work for both, kinds of answers. Just play with it. And always, guys, it's not only about memorizing, it's about making it yours and speaking it out, okay? So thank you for watching the videos. I am happy to entertain you with some English content, and that's why I try to be always like funny and hyper. But the thing is, if you want to improve your English speaking skills, you gotta be very actively practicing your talking. Because more and more I teach my students how to speak English. Speaking is not only about things you're saying, it's all about your muscle movements of your mouth, your with lips, your tongue, everything, right? And then at the same time, your brain is moving like a computer CPU, and then your breath also gets involved a lot. So it's all about exercising. It is so much the same as you're learning how to play golf, learning how to play squash, learning how to do yoga. Basically, those are things that I do. So it's so much similar to exercising. So guys, practice, make sounds, yay! And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.